saw like your business was picking up, you were super stressed out, you didn't really have the adequate help you need, and every time we'd bring someone on, they were not doing what they were supposed to, or falling short, or wasn't taking it serious, or, quit, whatever the case may be, and I guess my heart hurt watching you struggle so much. So I was like, okay, fine. And I finally just took off this pride jacket that I was wearing.
And as a leader, right, because we're all called to lead in some capacity inside of life, right? But if you're going to lead others, you have to first lead yourself, right? So what does that take? It takes self-development. It takes commitment, dedicated time that you can, like she said, sit, step back, have those quiet moments where you can read, meditate, journal, whatever you do to really bring out the best in yourself. Because if you're not taking the time to pour into yourself or allow God to pour into you, then you're not going to have enough fuel in your tank to make an impact in other people's lives, right? So in order to lead, you have to first put yourself in a position where you can be filled up, right? So you can lead yourself in order to lead others. And that's, in order for a team to function, there's got to be some type of leadership, right? And then directly behind the leadership is communication, right? Like everything in life, we can basically tie back to communication. Any disagreements with your neighbor, right? Any misunderstandings, even like lawsuits, right? All it translates to is just poor communication, either both of the parties or one of the parties not conveying their message, not being able to clearly speak and let the other person know their needs or their wants, So I think that the better that we can get to communicating with one another, the more success we see across the board.
Absolutely.
So branching off of that, what would you say the biggest wins or the biggest victories that we have to celebrate that we've experienced in the past several years, whether it be relational or in business?
Well, one, that we're still sitting here.
Yeah.
So, this 3.5 years ago was like, holy cow, what are we doing? At least together, like not fit as a business partners. Like
we basically took Lisa was going to step in and help with transaction coordination and accounting and finances and organized stuff, but because it wasn't working and there was so much friction, we basically decided, Lisa, you focus on the retail side of real estate. Yeah. I'll focus on the investment end. And right. It's always been those two separate entities.
Like I do my business, you do yours.
Yeah. Right. Until recently, things just picked up so much on the investment side. We're sourcing a lot of inventory, doing a lot of deals with this retail hedge fund across the country now. 90% of our business is out of state. It's all virtual. Which is a new model. But with that has come new challenges, new systems, and obviously a need for more people to step in and fill the seats that we need. So we finally been able to come together, and Lisa's still doing the retail side of things, still serving the general public and helping people, but it's not as much of a focus to push the marketing there, because I think we've also realized that you can spend less time on the investment side as long as we have the right systems and get a better return on your investment, right? As far as your time.
Right. So I think the biggest thing, at least for me, and I'm not sure if I've conveyed this completely to you before now, but so I think the biggest thing for me was, well, we're both Christians and, we look at things in a biblical sense. And so it was, God, husband, children, everything else, right? And I felt like my pride was in the way of a lot of it. Now, not to say that there wasn't, things provoking it, of course, but I just kind of had this wall up well, no, whatever the excuse is, but full transparency moment, a lot of it was pretty much just my pride. And anyway, I saw your business was picking up, you were super stressed out, you didn't really have the adequate help you need. And every time we'd bring someone on, they were not doing what they were supposed to, or falling short, or wasn't taking it serious, or, quit, whatever the case may be, and I guess my heart hurt watching you struggle so much. So I was like, okay, fine. And I finally just took off this pride jacket that I was wearing that felt too good to help you. I was like, just, if he's not that's nice, then I'm just not doing it kind of attitude. So I was like, no, I gotta stop that, because I'm called to be his helpmate. And what am I doing just standing on the sidelines watching him struggle when I know these are things that I'm fully capable of doing? So I was like, fine, here. So in full submission, I was like, give me what you need and I can do it. And so, long story short, here we are now and doing fine. Of course, communication was the biggest barrier. And I feel like as long as, we're communicating our needs to each other in a clear expectation, understanding of each other's expectations, I think that's where it bridged the gap in our, opposite ends of the spectrum type of deal.
Was it opposite ends of the spectrum, or was it that we're both firstborns and we're both like hard-headed and stubborn in that sense, being like leaders?
Yeah.
That we're maybe so much alike in some areas that's how we clashed.
Yeah, I would absolutely say that too. And also with the expectations, like I had expectations actually, here's the problem. I had no expectations. And I wouldn't say that I didn't have expectations, but when I quit my W-2 job to come work in the entrepreneur world, and work with you, it was this freeing sense. But at the same time, I'm one of those people, you're extremely disciplined. And you wake up in the morning and you're like, this and this and this has got to be done. Well, I like structure and routine and a schedule. So I need someone to hold me accountable to that. Because if somebody just says, you don't have a job anymore, which is really what happened. I'm like, cool, I'm going to go drink my cup of coffee. I'm going to go play with my kids. I might check my email every now and then, but nobody's telling me what to do. And I think that was the biggest problem I had in the beginning. But then when I realized, whoa, if I don't tell myself what to do, then I'm not putting food on the table. So kind of, I wouldn't say a light bulb moment, because obviously I know these things in the back of my mind, but I'm one of those people that, I like structure and I need to be held to a schedule. And so once I put that in place, along with taking off my pride jacket, here we are.